Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Thursday. It's April 4th. This will be our chart lesson for the day. And really crazy, wild sell-off day. We hadn't had a day like this in a while. Usually when we do, by the end of the day, they take most of it back. That didn't happen today, so something's changed. I don't know what's different. Maybe there was some news item. Um, I think there were some hints that maybe they may not drop rates later in the year, which everybody's been kind of banking on, which this whole market rally's probably been banking on. So all that's already built into this market. And if we suddenly don't have a rate drop when we're expecting one, we could see a substantial sell-off. I just find it hard to believe that they're going to let this market sell off and during election year. There's still some time left, so we could see a correction. We're overdue for one. So maybe they let it correct now and build it up later, closer to the election. We'll have to see. Maybe they can't keep it propped up. Who knows? But my guess is we'll be rallying back up here before too long. But we closed well below that midline on um, the midline here. This one I'm pointing at is actually far. That's actually not a midline. It's a midline of the envelope uh, indicator, but it's really the 21 EMA. That's what that line is built on. The rest of them have some other formulas in them, and they're proprietary. I won't, but kind of complicated to explain anyway. But this one in here is the 21 EMA, and you can see we closed way below that. So we may finally be coming back to. We haven't even tested this steeper trend line. So maybe we'll test it and bounce, or maybe we'll push on through it. We'll have to see what tomorrow brings, but we did close on our low today. First time we've closed that bearish in a long, long time. So we'll see if that pretends anything different here than what we have been seeing. But not a good day. And I mean, who here, raise your hand if you sat there and watched probably the biggest sell-off you've seen in a long, long time and you could not find an entry. And because if you couldn't, it's because there weren't any. It was a really difficult. Once you understand, you see that this is a really strong sell-off. There are some entries, but they don't fit our normal entry criteria. They're much more advanced. So I had somebody just before lunch send me an email, and he says, "Man, I just can't find a trade today." I said, "Well, that's because there hadn't been any." It was a really, really slow day for setups. Everything is so tight, and I mean, we'll flip over to the chart. Let's just flip on over there, but you'll see all of the trends and ranges were so tight that there's just no room in there. Everything was super tight. Well, here's your 2,000 tick chart, and you can see this early rally, real tight, steep, and then even this one is, there's a lot of sideways in there too. Somebody sent me their chart and they were kind of playing this as a range, which I think this is a downtrend. And then we had that real tight move up, and then look how tight this is all the way down, and then correction all the way down, and then it finally loosened up in here, and you got some setups. But I mean, the day's almost gone now. So early on, there's not one blue or red trade anywhere in there. There's a lot of green ones, but you really need to know what you're doing to trade those. I mean, there's just nothing there as far as the setups that we want to see before we enter a market. But you have to realize, you have to be able to recognize these real strong trends. And when you get a good signal bar off the key entry point in these trends, you just take it. I mean, that's simple as that. You probably, if you're new to this, you should sim trade that, but try it sometime, and you'll see that it works. And that's really the only way to trade it, because you're not going to get any second entries or triple test or hardly anything like that. But early on, we had this spike in channel, and it's a real weak channel. And then all of a sudden, boom, the news came out, the unemployment, and they liked it, and boom, it rockets up. You get a close outside a couple of legs, and then the next thing you know, we're trending down. And this is a weak downtrend because it's not real steep, and it's a lot of sideways stuff, but it's a downtrend all the same. And then just out of the blue, boom, it rockets right back up again. I think we get a little bit of an overshoot here. And then the next thing you know, this thing is off the races, off to the races downward. So it's just, there's just not a lot of setups here. But let's zoom in. We'll talk about it. I'll show you what I can show you, and we'll go from there. But the news came out here, and this rocketed this up. I tried to adjust this channel to see if it fit bigger, but it doesn't fit. This is just a big rally that came, just a new steeper channel is all it is that came off the news. And you couldn't really get into it. It didn't even give you a signal bar on the way at the trend line all the way up. It's just not much. I mean, maybe this one, signal bar has to make a new low, and you can see there's none all the way up there till here. And now you've had a break, and I wouldn't enter long there, just too far away from the EMA. It has to be off the key entry point. Then, of course, we're running down. You get a break, move to a new low. You're working up. You get a close outside, new high. Then you're running down. This one was tempting right here to go short because you're expecting a retest of this low, but because you do get a close outside the new high, however, it's just a first entry and it looks a little congested there. I mean, it's another one you might argue to be green, but I'm not crazy about it. It's right into the midline. And you may not even have that midline yet, is the other thing. So it's just congested there. The only thing is you are expecting a retest of the lows, and maybe you'll get it. Here you get a little first entry, second entry, and a breakout retest with a nice signal bar. Again, it's nothing great, but we've been sitting here for how long? That's the best setup we've seen since way back when. And so maybe you take that one. Runs on down, bounces, and we do kind of set the channel there. Then it's coming back, and it's just stuck in this congestion. There's no longs or shorts there I would take. Drops on down, hits the lows again, and we can't get out of this lower half. The market was looking really weak until just suddenly, boom, it's rocketing off the other way. And so you don't really want to be going short right into this trend line anywhere. But notice what happens when we push out and we come back. There's your first, I mean, this is looking really strong here, and there's your first signal bar that closes at the key entry point. When you've had enough bars there to realize, hey, yeah, this is a strong trend. Runs up, it pulls back, gives you another one there. And I mark those green because that's aggressive, and you need to know what you're doing. That's not for the average trader. Most of you get burnt doing that. But you watch when you see these real tight, real strong, and how do you know it's real strong? Because it's just straight up and it's so tight. And look at all the dojis and the stems on each side of the bar. When you start to see that, it just keeps going higher and higher and higher, and it's respecting the trend channel. You know that's a strong trend. And then suddenly you get an overshoot, and it tries to correct, and it's just kind of stuck going sideways. That one was tempting too, but there's not room to scalp out, and you don't know that it's going to go lower. It could still try to make a retest of the high, so it could trap you and run higher. So you just can't take that. And then we start down here, and it's really hard to know it's a strong trend until maybe right in here. And then you get a secondary channel working down here, and this one was a first entry, second entry, but again, it's just a real bearish bar right at the key entry point. Here's another one, another signal bar right at the key entry point. Here we break outside. You don't really get a good setup anyway. And here you get a first entry, and then it turns back up and goes higher, it breaks higher first and turns down. You might even trade that on the engulfing bar, but I'd wait for it to close, and it closes bearish. You may not could have got in it. It kind of just takes off. Maybe you could, if you missed it, you drop a limit order. Maybe it comes back and gets you. I'm not sure. Then we just kind of start working sideways back to the trend line. And we get a break here. And notice that we didn't get back down there this time. That tells you it's losing a little steam. So that'd be a good indication of why you probably wouldn't want to go short right there. That trade would have worked, but I wouldn't take it because we came up short here, so there's a good chance you get a break, or you'll either come up short on this side or you'll come up over on this side. And so we ended up coming up over. And you just don't really get another chance to enter here because this channel is working up and you don't get a break and you higher in, it just turns down again. So, and all of a sudden it looks real strong again. Here you get a break higher and turn down, go short right there. Again, it's aggressive. You need to know what you're doing. Too congested here. This is not a good enough signal bar. That one was tempting, but that's an inside bar. It doesn't really tick higher. Then you're working up. I didn't color this one for some reason. I must have forgot to. And you get another push to a new low. And then all of a sudden you're pushing higher again. And then here we go again. It takes off again. And when it does this, once you've had a break and a good move with several swings to a new low and it starts another downtrend, you probably should draw your trend channels because it could be another leg down. And here we go again. It broke higher there and turned down. Here we are back at the key entry point again. Big bearish bar. Nothing there. And you actually get a little close outside here at a new low. Looks like maybe we'll rally. I don't know why that's pink. And then we're just chopping sideways. Again, it's tempting to go short there, but that's an engulfing bar. I believe it breaks higher and touches and then turns down. You really need to wait till that closes, and if you do, there's no setup there. Then you get a first entry and then a second entry. The second entry actually occurred here on the break below this, but these are 3-bar matching highs, so you could pick any of those for a signal bar. And this one closes bearish. I like going short there. Now on a regular day, you may not do that because it looks a little congested too, but today, you're just, you're looking for reasons to get short. Even this one's tempting. It's still 2 legs back. It didn't quite get to the EMA because the midline's in the way. And this actually breaks higher and turns down. I don't know that I'd go short way down here. You could, but maybe when it passes that bar, just looking for a scalp. So there's another one. I'm going to mark that one green, though. It's a little aggressive. Then here's a clear second entry with a nice signal bar. Yeah, it's not in the greatest spot, but again, you get a close outside and new high, and it's a clear second entry with a clear great bearish signal bar on a sure down day. We'll take it. Then you get a higher low here. Take that one too. And then we're working. We did come off the low, so now we're working back to the highs. Once again, you get another. Notice you made a new low, and you get a first entry, second entry. Again, normally I'd say probably don't go short there. But on a day like this, take it, and it works. And then you push 2 more times up here, and now you get a big bearish bar. Those are equal highs, so it's 2-bar matching highs, so you can use that. You got a big bearish bar right off the main key entry point. Of course, take that. And then you get another second entry here. Notice first entry, second entry. Now, it is a little congested, so it's like a failed breakout too. But it breaks higher and fails and turns down. If it breaks below that, it's a second entry short. I'd take it. Here's another second entry, but the signal bar is no good. First entry, second entry, it still would have worked, but I think you got to skip that one. This is your signal bar, the green one, and it's higher than this one. So you do get a lower high, but not a good enough signal bar. You can't enter here. If that one would have broke higher, I'd say there's you another one right off the key entry point, but no, it doesn't. And this runs straight into the 2:30 hour. So yeah, you got a few trades right in here, and most of your newer traders or people that aren't really skilled yet would probably skip most of those because they're not great setups. But when you got a downtrend like this, it just keeps going and going and going. You're just looking for reasons to get in, especially when you're not getting a lot of clear entries. And again, you can't confuse that with another day, because what will happen is tomorrow we'll be in a range and somebody will send me something similar to what I showed them here, and they'll say, well, you liked it here, why don't you like it here? Well, the context of the chart would be totally different in the range day. This is, if you can't see the difference between this sell-off here and this sideways stuff here, then you got a lot of work to do, because that looks nothing like, and it really started here and we got a mild correction, and then actually we got a real strong temporary correction, and then boom, it sold off again and even harder. Really crazy day, and it's unfortunate that we didn't get more nice setups. And so again, if you were sitting in here and wondering why I'm not seeing any setups, there weren't any. You know, it's a different type trading. You don't get many days like this. Usually when you get a real strong day like this, it sells off, you'll get multiple second entries and plenty of chances to enter. You might have to wait a little bit on them, but you get them. Today they just weren't. I mean, this market just was selling off. It couldn't even correct enough to give you two legs back to anywhere hardly. It just was selling off every time it got back to the key entry point. But with time and experience and improving your skill, you'll see that, and you'll be able to take some of those trades. But for most of you right now, you know, unless you're sim trading, if you're sim trading, try it. That's how you learn. I keep telling people, you know, there's two lines of sim trading. One of them is you want to build your you know, you want to double a 10,000K account or something to prove you can do it. But before that, while you're learning, you're not worried about your account. All you're worried about is trading as much as you can with live data, and taking every trade you see that you think fits our criteria, and then not worrying if you're right or wrong. Just take the trade, let it play out, and don't worry about it. Go on, take the next one, and do that as much as you can every day, because that's how you get experience trading live data. It's no different than if you had real money, other than your money's not real. But the data is the exact same that you were trading if you had real money. And I mean, it's a perfect learning environment. I wish that it had that kind of learning environment when I first started, because it would have made it a whole lot easier. And people don't even take advantage of it. I mean, you know, I suggest that to somebody the other day, and he got offended. He said, that sounds like a newbie type suggestion to me. And, you know, he thought he was more experienced and didn't need that. But I'm trying to explain to people, it doesn't, if you're not profitable, you need experience on trading live data. And you can't get that trading live, because if you're only trading live, you're probably only taking 2 or 3 trades a day, because you can't afford to trade any more of that, because you're losing too much. And you're not getting enough trading experience. You have to get lots and lots of screen time trading live data. And the only way to do that's on the simulator. Because even if you got $1 million in your trading account, you don't have enough. You'll just donate all that to somebody else that's a skilled trader. So don't think because you've been doing this for 5 or 6 years that you're too good to get on the simulator. You're just fooling yourself. And I mean that. And you know, you're missing the opportunity of a lifetime. Like I said, I wish they had that. I mean, even today, if I have a bad streak, what do you think I'm going to do? Keep trading into that bad streak? No, I'm going to stop, get on the simulator, and I'm going to go and start trading the simulator until I get back on track again. Even today, after 25 years, that's what I will do. And that's how you get better at this. So don't think you're too good to sim trade. I used to just think it was because people were too eager to trade live. But now I'm starting to think a lot of it is people think they're too good to sim trade. They think they're better than they are. And you've got a misconception. You don't understand how much that sim trade, being able to take every trade and study your trades, you completely missing the value of that. That is the value of it, is that you're able to study your own tendencies. My tendencies are different than yours, and your tendencies are different than mine, and your tendencies are different than your friend that you're chatting to in Discord or in wherever, and you're trying to, one of you's making totally different mistakes than the other, and you're not really helping each other. In fact, you're probably hurting each other. You need to be studying your tendencies, and the only way to know those is to get on the simulator. The only way to get trading experience, as much of it as you can. You need to, if you can get 8 hours a day of it, you need to get 8 hours a day of it every day, because that's how you get better. It's like playing the piano. Let's say I taught you to play the basics of piano, but you want to play professionally. How long do you think it's going to take you to play professionally if you play for 10 or 15 minutes 3 or 4 times a day? Forever. But if you can sit there for hours every day practicing and playing, you're going to get better. Trading's the exact same. It's common sense. Open your brain and don't be so short-sighted, and don't be so to think you're too good to sim trade because you've been doing this forever. If you're not profitable, you're still doing wrong things, and the only way to figure those out and correct them is to get on the simulator and do it. Yeah, some of it may be in your head, but you can still correct that stuff sim trading. So anyway, I didn't mean to get into all that today, but it popped in my brain. And don't misunderstand the value of sim trading is all I'm saying. That's the key to all of it. Taking all these trades every day sim trading, and you prove to yourself they work. You prove to yourself you can find them. It improves your confidence. It gives you something to study so you can figure out your bad tendencies and correct them, and you also reinforce your good tendencies. I mean, there's nothing like it. And if you're not doing it, you're just passing up the best opportunity. Like I said, I wish I'd had that opportunity when I first started. But even today, if I need it, I'm going to use it. It's been a while since I've had to do that, but even in the last 7 or 8 years, I've gone back to the simulator. I'll have a little stretch where I had 1 or 2 or 3 losses, and it shakes you up. And you say, okay, well, I'll go back to the simulator for a few hours. It may be only a few hours for me. It might be a few days or weeks for the rest of you. It might be a few months for some of you. Never should have gotten off the simulator because you're not ready yet, and you're just donating your money to the cause. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Hope you had a great week. We're done for the week. No chart lessons on Fridays. I will say too, I have another cruise coming up in April this month. It snuck up on me. I kind of forgot about it, but I think we leave on April 18th, and this is a 10-day cruise. So I'm going to be gone for about 12 days, I think. So I think I'm going to miss a Thursday and a Friday of 1 week, and then all of the next week. So you'll have to make it without me for really only a week. You might miss one chart lesson during that week, the first week, but the next week I'll be gone the whole week. So I'll remind you as we get closer. I probably should have already been talking about it, but it kind of snuck up on me, and I got a reminder today about this cruise. And so anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it Monday. I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.